Hello, let me to present our research about landscape modeling of lakes for cadastral purposes. Such information about the lakes, especially for the nature reserve fund, should be based on landscape geographic principles using modern geoinformation systems. We presenting our approach to developing integrated cadastral landscape model of the lake with limnology parameters, which should serve as a basis for the recreational nature use, monitoring and geoecological certification of the reservoirs. The model protected nature area of this research is Nobel National Nature Park in Ukraine, which is located within the physiogeographic region of Volyn-Polessia. The landscapes of the park are characterized by an extensive hydrographic network, swampy wetland complexes, sand dunes, and green massifs of forests. The park includes 12 lakes, and among them is Rivne Lake. The development of the cadastral landscape model of lakes Rivne included field instrumental research, in particular high-precision echo-sounding of the reservoir, research into the composition and thickness of lake sediments, the study of the species diversity of above water and underwater plant communities, and determination of the temperature regime in the summer. The hydrometric work was carried out in May 2021 using a Hummingbird echo-sounder. The water level during the measurements was recorded using GNSS RTK receiver. SRTM radar survey data were processed in the RGS desktop software complex to set the boundaries and configuration of the catchment area. Probing of the bottom sediments of the lake was carried out from the ice in winter with a spoon-type geological drill. The basin of Lake Rivne was formed among real dominant morphological units of the landscape, presented on the slide, and the typical landscape view we can see on the photo. So the dominant morphological units are hills and dunes with gentle slopes covered with lichen shrub pine forests on hidden podzolic, sometimes crushed stone and sandy soils. Also, there are elevated areas between rivers, complicated by karst funnels, covered with lichen, moss pine and beech pine forest, on slightly podzolics, sometimes clayey sandy soil. Also presented undulating areas between rivers, the local closed mounded depression covered with various grass, several green moss and other types of vegetation, and the lakeside narrow depression and lake depression of irregular shape formed on sapropel deposits, so that morphological units are typical for our landscape. Based on the results of echo-sounding data processing, we built a bathymetric map of Lake Rivne. The central part of the bed of the lake basin has a depression of elongated shape of more than 3 meters. The average depth of the reservoir is 2.4 meters. The area of the lake is all 0.2 square kilometers. Other morphometric and hydrological parameters of the lake are given in the table. The developed three-dimensional model of Lake Rivne is an additional element of the visualization of the lake basin microrelief. The differentiation of the relief of the basin by steepness of the slopes is important in further development of legend of the landscape map, in particular the determination of the processes of accumulation or transit of mineral particles and dead remains of aquatic organisms. The relief of the lake basin affects the distribution of areas and volumes of water masses of the lake. The area of the littoral zone of the reservoir with a depth of up to 3 meters is the largest and accumulates about 95%. Based on the results of bathymetric surveying, landscape field research and computer processing of materials, a digital landscape map of Lake Rivne was developed. Typical landscape elements shown on the slide. And there are two main types of landscape. The first one is littoral aqua subtract on sandy muddy, peat swamp sediment and sapropel. And the second one is sublittoral profundal aqua subtract on clay limestone and organic limestone sapropel. The main information about complexity of natural aqua complex of the lakes Rivne are collected in the table, and the biggest aquafacies for subtract 1 is the littoral accumulative transit algal carbonate sapropel associations with a homogeneous temperature regime in summer, and for subtract type 2 the biggest is aquafacies sublittoral accumulative and transit accumulative clay limestone sapropel with heterogeneous temperature regime in summer. As the conclusions, we can say that the main hydrological and morphometric parameters of the lake basin were calculated, and the landscape map of natural aquatic complex was created, and its landscape metric analysis was carried out at the level of aquatic tract and fascias. The research revealed change in the level regime and shoreline of the lake caused by the long dry period of the last 6 years and life activity of beavers. The created integrated cadastral landscape model of the lake with limnology parameters should serve as a basis for the recreational nature use monitoring and the geoecological certification of the reservoir of the Natural Research Fund. Thank you for your attention.